Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time it is for you. I'm Cyclone. It's time for more Let's Play Train Simulator. And oh boy, is it an interesting weekend on the real Long Island Railroad this particular weekend that I'm airing this. Today, as I'm airing this to you, there are weekend closures on the Long Island Railroad this weekend and next weekend, basically on the Hempstead line, and causing other services to have to maneuver around the need to provide service to the Hempstead area. It looks like there's going to be bus service to part of the Hempstead line this weekend, and it's kind of funny that I'm not doing the too early for work scenario, because this will be our chance to see the regular Hempstead service, at least from Jamaica. But where it actually does run from Jamaica twice in the early morning on the real timetable. But this weekend is just a mess, because it's a three-part service with trains to Ronkonkoma taking up the middle part of the service from, I think, about Queen's Park to Jamaica. And then going their usual way to Penn, while you have to hop another transfer over to Atlantic Terminal. So the entire Hempstead service is completely messed up. If you're planning to go anywhere from Hempstead, you better just do it during the week instead of trying to do it on the weekend this time. It's a messy service this weekend, but I want to make a scenario about it. I want to make a scenario for it. And I think I'm going to try to do it. I'm going to try to jot down some of the information for a couple of the trains going through and see if I can actually make something for that during the daytime period. So I definitely have inspiration for a scenario right now, and even though it's 2022, I definitely have inspiration to do that right now. I want to do that. So I'm going to try and do that. But for right now, I got some scenarios to play. I'm going to try and play these both in one sitting, and I'll just show them to you Saturday and Sunday so I can try experimenting with my scenario idea. So in the meantime, first part, on the clock, part one, we're going to do a 55-minute scenario. This is New York, Penn to Hicksville. So again, funny I'm talking about Hempstead. We're not even going to Hempstead. We're just going to be driving right by the entire branch, starting at one terminus, going to another. Basically the entire route, 55-minute journey. Let's get started on this, shall we? Good evening, engineer. Set up the train and await further instructions. Now, as you again may have noticed, I'm using the darker boxes that I'm used to doing. They all come with the white boxes. I'm just using mine again. So this is not what comes with the scenario. These are edits. And I'm hoping in the future they actually get edited into the scenario, because it's just a script update. But we'll find out. In any case, let's get the train set up as commanded, and we'll get ourselves set to go here. And we'll talk about this Hempstead service a little later, because I actually want to talk about how that is actually set up. And I'm going to probably talk about it next weekend as well, because I'm actually going to be running the Hempstead service. I might push that scenario till next weekend, and just to give me an opportunity to talk about it. I haven't decided yet. So we'll see. I'll see what I decide to do. In any case, let's get started. Okay, so now I'm just going to wait further instructions. This is a stop task, so nothing to think about here. And we have 9 stops, it looks like, including Penn itself. So there we go. So we're just going to wait for directions here. Can I look outside the train? No, I cannot. Yeah, this is not how you look outside the train. And I got stuck outside now. Beautiful. Okay, engineer, we'll now move into New York Penn track 16, where this train enters revenue service. Get me out from above ground. It's ugly up there. It's scary up there. I don't want to do it. It's scary. You turn the headlights on. Good start. Ah! We're going to have a downhill here, so I'm going to hold my speed where I am for a moment. So this is being referred to as the yard exit. I can actually stick my head out the window, which I was not expecting to be able to do since I can't look at the top of the train right now. But I can stick my head out the window, and I can look behind me. So there you go. That's what I'm looking at. Whoa, speed. Speed. Don't speed. Let's stop lollygagging with our tongue hanging out the window. We got work to do. Wow. 2.8% downhill. That is a massive downhill. I don't know who made this smart decision to build a yard on a very heavy downhill gradient. That's probably not the smartest decision I've ever seen anyone make. Okay, we're starting to get towards the end of it now. The back of the train, last 2 cars are still on the downhill. That's going to ease out. I need to cut one more brake application in. We should be off that hill now, thankfully. So we should be coasting in generally untethered at this point, though there seems to be still a slight downhill gradient here. It seems to have come to a stop. So we now are pulling into Penn number 16 here. Now the arrow says to stop at where the signal is located, and that is typically what we're going to be looking at AI to do, because AI could cause problems if they move it beyond the signal and pull into a junction. So it can cause problems. I'm pretty sure I've seen, problems with this game before. I'm just guessing there could be problems with that. That might be why the arrow is there. So it's telling you stop before that signal. Make sure you don't have any issues with popping into a junction and screwing up an AI train, basically, in case someone's coming in while you're stopped. So we want to stop before the signal. We are going to do that here. I have a little room to go before I actually have to stop, though. And I actually have a whole minute to stop, too. Where is the signal? Oh, that's the signal right above my head. Okay, that is the signal. It is a green signal, but we're going to go ahead and leave it untouched. We're going to open the doors right here. We are fully in the platform, arrived at New York Penn, track number 16. Let's get started. Before we spend too much time thinking about pictures here, let's get our train set up for our service to Hicksville. So we're going to set up our box here. We have Hicksville up, and as you can see, Hicksville is now shown on the train all the way down. Okay, engineer, we are ready to depart. Our first stop is at Woodside. Alrighty. So we'll talk more about the Hempstead service changes later as we actually go into the Hempstead area, because it's very interesting what they're doing this weekend in regards to that. So for right now, let's concentrate on our trip out of New York Penn, because there are some... the gradients do actually try to make you speed a little bit here as you leave the area, because you're limited to a 15. And then by the time you're allowed to go uphill, you're actually finally able to go 60, which is kind of ironic. So we're going to enter the spooky dark tunnel. Blowing the horn just because I feel like it. There's our 60, which we can't touch yet. We're going to get a speed indicator in the cab of 80, but we still can't do that because the speed is 50 until we pass the 60. Like, seriously, if you're going to give us these indicators, let us at least go it. Please? We're going to hold ourselves where we are for a moment. The speed is starting to really increase. We're on a 0.9% downhill gradient. I should be okay by the time I get to the end of the sign, though. I think we're going to be fine. Barely. Good eye. So our first stop, as I may have mentioned already, is Woodside, stopping to get track number 4. That is a train going by on the other track there, track number 4 to our north. And of course I'm centered on Woodside for some stupid reason. So the train that went by is this guy right here. 4051 to New York Penn. That is who went by. Now there have been comments about low FPS on this route. Just to show the FPS in this area, I'm actually getting a 25 right now. But when you get to the Jamaica area, there is actually a lower FPS. I will make a point of showing that to you later, but I want to bring up the FPS now to show that much of the route is okay. It's just the area around Jamaica that really starts getting a little slower. And DTG is, I am fairly sure, aware of the FPS problems. They've been reported a lot. As a result, I'm sure there is going to be something at least attempted to fix it. What they're going to be able to do, I don't know yet. We don't know what the issue is. It could be a problem with the train. It could be an issue with some of the graphics around Jamaica. I hope not, because some of it's actually from TSW. But there could be anything causing those problems at Jamaica. Even having too much stuff there could be the cause of the problem. So, yeah, we're going to find out if they're able to make any FPS fixes to the route. And if they are, I'm sure we're going to get to try those out sooner or later as well. might have noticed the lights that are there. I'll try to cut that out, but I might forget or might not have time to go back and fix that in the post-edit. So if I have a chance, I'll try to cut some of that out. It wasn't too bad, just about a second or so, but still, it's distracting. I'm losing a little bit of speed on the uphill now, so let's go ahead and get our speed back. We should be going 60. There is a 40 coming up, so we want to take advantage of the 60 while we can. We're going to get dropped to 40 very, very quickly. Just for a very small stint. Then we're going to be right back to 60. Yeah, genius. I think it's for a junction at Harold. That would make sense. Might be where the Long Island City track joins us. That might be why we go down there. The nice thing is the natural uphill is going to help us slow down nicely by the time we get to that signal anyway. We just need to maintain some speed until we get to a certain point. And then the train can pull us down the rest of the way. Now it's possible that on the actual Long Island Railroad, okay, we're leaving the tunnel now, so let's bring up the FPS again. We're running a 20 in this area now around Sunnyside Yard. It's starting to rain, which might also be contributing to the FPS slack. So it's possible the engineers may push the trains really hard to get every inch of speed they can until they have to slow down. And if they do, well, credit to them. They're probably already late, so they probably need to do that. We're getting our 40 now. Why am I getting down, please? Down. Take the signal, thank you. Okay, we're good now. Yeah, they're going to get all the speed they can out of it is what I'm basically trying to say. Stop losing speed. So the train code is now officially on a 40, which is what we're being alerted to. We're going to have a 40 speed coming up here on the actual board, and then only about 0.8 of a mile after that is 60. Seems kind of pointless, doesn't it? So let's see what this 40 is making us do. We're in the 40 now. Ah, we do take a junction. Because that was an Amtrak track that we were on. So, okay, I see. That's an Amtrak track. So we come out of New York Penn on Amtrak track. We have to actually pull onto the Long Island Railroad track, which automatically starts at Long Island City. Okay, interesting. That's how it's laid out. And we can go back up to 60. I'll just show you the map in that area. So we came along the path right there, and it's actually changed against us already. So the tracks up there go towards the Amtrak route over there. A couple more seem to join us coming in this direction for whatever reason. One of the lines you saw there also said Port Washington on it. That's the line that you would take if you were taking a drive to Port Washington. And you would actually go by Platform C for those journeys. Of course, we don't have the Port Washington branch represented, but if some inspired intrepid builder were to want to build the Port Washington branch on top of this route, you'll be seeing trains going down there sooner or later on the Port Washington branch. Actually, don't brake yet. I started to brake. I don't need to yet. I'm going too fast. It's too slow for this brake application. We have until 17:39 to make our stop. And here we go. We'll take a little bit of our power off and get down to 30 by the time I enter the platform. I'm not going to quite get there, so I'm going to need heavier brakes. I'm going to ease them off a little bit now. I'm going to go on about 15 now, so a little over 15. We're going to keep pulling in. I have 4 cars left to get in. 6 are in. 3 to go. I'm going to start braking again. I probably should be coming a little faster and having a nice, easy stop there, but I am not a professional, ladies and gentlemen. we do arrive at Woodside, track number 4. The doors have now been opened. Leaving Woodside, our next stop is Jamaica. That is the hub of the Long Island Railroad. And soon after we leave Woodside, we're going to be seeing for the port washing tracks heading off to the left. I'm going to try to show you a view of it out the top. That's not how. You can see the port washing tracks to the left right now. We're going to go under this bridge. And this next bridge. And at some point now, these tracks are going to leave us. So I'm going to try to show you the tracks leaving here. I shouldn't have any distractions for the time being. We're going over what looks like an interstate here. We have our clear signal, as you can see, above our train. It just changed to stop as we passed. Limited to 60 for the time being, so I'm going to stop my increase somewhat. There goes the Port Washington tracks to the left right now in that direction, and that's where they go off. We're going to stop our increase for a moment because I'm not quite in the 80 yet. I'm now in the 80. We're going to try and take advantage of the speed as much as we can because I know we're going to get dropped to 15 at Jamaica. It is inevitable. I forgot that we're actually in a 70 code right now. Whoops. I need to get my train back down to a position where I can actually respond. That was actually a bad move on my part because we actually were still in a 70 code and I should not have been moving up to 80 yet. So I'm actually going to lose a little bit of time on this. This could actually cost me very dearly for my score, but it looks like I still have a lot of time, so I may still be okay. So as I'm doing all this, I'm actually looking up more on this Hempstead outage this weekend. That's actually happening today and tomorrow as I'm recording this. Or I should say airing this. Hempstead branch trains are not running east of Jamaica. So Hempstead trains which come from Atlantic Terminal are not running beyond Jamaica. And buses replace trains at Locust Manor, Laurelton, and Rosedale. Those don't mean anything to me. There are schedule changes for the Ronkonkoma, which is the train that the Jamaica transfers are going to hop onto. And also for the West Hampstead, which has nothing to do with us. And for all Brooklyn trains as well, which is something to do with us. So I'm looking at doing I'm looking at possibly doing a scenario involving. It would be a two-part scenario since we're assuming there's no Hempstead train. I've been looking at doing one scenario which covers the actual timetable of one of the New York Penn trains. So basically, we would be taking a Ronkonkoma service. We would be doing the additional stops, and we would be continuing on to New York Penn, but then we would also jump back to Jamaica on the second part and take the transported passengers off to Atlantic Terminal. I may opt to take out the New York Penn part, but at the same time, it's a nice full scenario if we keep it in, so I may just leave both. I may just give you the full journey and then give you the small portion from Jamaica. I'm actually thinking of doing that as a scenario pair. I think it would be a nice little pair to, and then have the train prepared for a future service at Atlantic Terminal. If the time works out, I might even take the second set of passengers off and have another train waiting for them. We'll have to see what how the timetables work out for that. It'd be very cool to be able to do that. I think we're going to get a 70 before Kew Gardens, so I'm going to drop down right now. The signs are lined up in such a way, this is telling me a 70 is coming. Fairly sure a 70 is coming. Right now. Gonna drop more speed now. So that was a 70. I was already in that. I'm gonna try and get us down to 40. It might even be a 3. This is Kew Gardens. Easing off the brakes a little bit because the train's gonna tell me to slow down further anyway. Thank you. So we are going 30. We're exactly where we need to be right now. This is exactly what I want to do. And if you don't believe me, there it is, 30. Next to those two green lights on the bottom below the other speed. So because 30 is our train speed, we have to go 30. We don't have an option. We have to go 30. Even though the track is good for 80, we're only good for 30. Cab signaling for the win, ladies and gentlemen. Now, something we're going to see as we come into the Jamaica area as well. I actually don't want to do this right now because I know we're going to get a speed down for 20 anyway, but I'll poke my head out the window for a second. Somewhere over there's a turntable as the track from Atlantic Terminal comes in. And that south of that turntable is, actually I'm going to get the name of it. Quiet. South of the turntable. I'm going to show you where on the map here. Not this track, because this is the track that goes towards Jamaica Subway, which we're not worried about. But, and then another Jamaica Subway portal, so the tracks are just there for fun. Why not? Yes, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Let's start slowing down now, shall we? We'll just get it down now and get that taken care of. So, down here you can see a spot called Boland's Landing. There's a turntable I was talking about right here. So here we are coming along the track over here. So we should be able to see a little bit over in that direction. I'm going to pop my head out of the cab for a second. Okay. That should be fine for the moment. So I'm going to pop over over the top of the train there. Over in that direction, you might be able to just see Boland's Landing over in that area a little bit. I don't know for sure. But somewhere over there, you might be able to see Boland's Landing. I can't really tell where the turntable is from here, but it's in that direction. It's a staggered platform. It's an employee-only platform for employee stops, and you're only going to see about 6 in the 2019 schedule. Oh, stop speeding. In the 2019 schedule, you see about 16 trains stop there every day. They include some Hempstead service trains. They include some Far Rockaway trains, I believe. There's a couple, might be a couple Babylon trains there. I'm not 100% sure what the makeup is of all these trains. But 16 trains. I think 7 going eastbound towards Jamaica, and then 9 going towards Atlantic Terminal. I think that's the number of trains that go through. And because of where it's located, only trains that use the Atlantic branch would actually be stopping there or even be able to access it in the first place. For that reason, it's a very low use employee station because it's basically where you'll find employees hop on if a train does not have access to Hillside for whatever reason. There's 2061 for New York Penn. So yeah, that's an alternative employee station for trains that actually don't have access to Hollis, and that way trains that go to the south of Jamaica can actually get people hopping on as well. So 2 employee centers. One is much more used than the other at Hillside because that's also the yard. But for those people who take the who board the trains for working on the trains going south, you're going to find a few employee stops at I forgot the name. I forgot the name all of a sudden. I keep forgetting that name. What is it again? Boland's Landing. You're going to find a number of trains at Boland's Landing. The ones that typically go south or stay on the Hempstead line. They may stop at Hillside in a few cases for the Hempstead line, but they have a couple at Boland's as well. So pulling in Jamaica right now, I'm just going to stay at 12. I'm not going to fiddle with the speed because we have to come to a stop anyway, and we should be on time. That little bit of a lost time is not going to hurt us too badly. We might be a couple seconds late here. I'm going to hit the brakes now anyway. Actually, I did want to go a little further, so I actually am really pushing it now slightly. Ooh, I'm living on the edge, ladies and gentlemen. I am on the edge. Yeah. And doors are open to Jamaica. leaving Jamaica. Our next stop is New Hyde Park. We are, of course, doing a regular service to Hicksville here. We're not doing any of these alternative service schedules that's going on this weekend. But I'm going to tell you a little bit about what's happening on those alternative service schedules because it is very interesting. First of all, we're going to see I think we're going to go one more track over. If we may stay on this track, we may go one more over, I'm not sure. But we are going to eventually find our way, find a track leaving us. We might not see this one very well, but there'll be a track leaving us over to the south of us. This could be it right here, actually. If we hop on top of the train for a moment, we're going to see this train, or this track pop to the south. And there's a track coming from underground there, it looks like. That track underground is the one that actually leads to that direction. You can see the train going straight, the track going straight out from the middle of the screen right now. So it was the track over there that is actually going out to the south. That track abruptly ends at dead scenery because there is no activity over there for us to be worried about. See a bus going by. Beauty. So we don't have anything to worry about in that direction. So we're not going to worry about anything in that direction for obvious reasons. We missed an alert to a 40, by the way. But we don't get emergency brake for a higher speed, only if we don't respond to a lower speed, even if we're under that speed, conveniently enough. So we're going to eventually see another track disappear, and this one's going to rise up to the right of us before it actually disappears. We're going to see another track crossing and merging all the way over to the left where we are, and I think even a track over. We're going to see that track merging over before we actually see the track leave. And that track leaving, we're going to go up to 40 now, that track leaving heads towards St. Albans. So St. Albans actually is in the route. By the way, if you want to know what the FPS is in this area right now, I'm getting a 24 now that I've left Jamaica. I actually was showing a 20 while stopped at Jamaica. So there's not too many trains in this scenario, so I'm actually getting a fairly okay FPS in this because there's so little traffic. I think for my initial scenario offerings, I'm going to try to not put too much traffic in until they resolve the FPS issue. Then I might try putting more in to see how it works. But for right now, we'll see what we can get here. So yeah, we're going to see St. Albans in the St. Albans in the DLC, and I'm actually looking at doing a train to or from St. Albans as well to accommodate the Babylon branch. Why not, right? I have seen where that track ends, by the way. It actually ends in a forest. So the scenery does go right up to the track end. You wouldn't know it was coming unless you were looking ahead while going at full speed. So there's that track going up. That's the track that heads towards St. Albans. So St. Albans is there, and the scenery is in place around St. Albans. So, yeah, because the scenery is all in place around St. Albans, we're in good shape for any kind of extension over there. I'm going to wait for an 80 to come along. I'm going to keep lower speed for a moment. I'm going to just pop out of the train and follow that track to St. Albans. I'm not going to go along the whole track, but this is where it goes. This is all brand new. This is not in Train Sim World. None of this is in Train Sim World. This is all brand new. St. Albans is in this direction. I'm probably not going to reach it, but it is... Actually, that's St. Albans right there. You can see it right there. That's St. Albans Station. That is brand new. So none of that is in Train Sim World. I'm going to make a point of trying to get a scenario over there at some point. Whether it's mine or someone else's, I will try to make a point of showing you that area at some stage. I don't think an official scenario goes there. So, and I know there's no services for East Williston as well. We're going to have to wait for a diesel train before we can really go to East Williston, because that's the kind of train that goes up there. Even though East Williston is an electric service train, I think the best you can hope for that station to get use today is as we pass Hillside, by the way, I believe that is. The best we can do for getting that service at that station right now would be to have services beyond Mineola stopped and then just pull into East Williston and end our service. That's the best we can hope for. That would probably go down as a special on our train, because I don't think East Williston is actually listed as one of our destination markers. In fact, I can confirm that very quickly. If I head down here... Yeah, oh, actually, East Williston's right there. We can use it as a terminus. So I guess there is a special reason to have a service to East Williston from time to time. It's just not on the regular timetable, as far as I can tell. So I guess it can be used as a service terminus because it is the end of the electrical power in that area, and then it goes into regular block after that. And that's where I believe the diesel trains would come into effect. So we're now at our 80 mile per hour speed limit. I'm going to try to stay under the 80 here. I don't necessarily want to go over even just by the decimals because we're going at a good enough speed that it's just minimal at this point. That is, I believe, Hollis. Oh no, that's actually, that might be Queens Village actually. I might have missed Hollis. Or I called Hollis's Hillside. I'm not sure, one or the other. I can tell you that the trains that we're on the Hempstead branch right now as well. This is train number 0763 coming at us. So we're actually on the Hempstead stretch right now as well. We're going to be going by Foro Park in a moment. The Ronkonkoma trains actually stop at Hollis, Queens Village, and the upcoming Foro Park during the disruption in service. And then they're going to stop at Mineola for the bus transfer, which is, Mineola is a normal stop. So the reason the Ronkonkoma trains are making those 3 additional stops is because those are Hempstead service stops. And that way someone transferring to the train to take the bus to Hempstead can also just hop off the train anytime up to Mineola and be done their service anyway, like they normally would be. Just they have to do it as 2 trains, not as 1. Because now they're hopping on a train from New York Penn. So, interesting weekend. It's going to be a very interesting weekend. Because the Ronkonkoma trains are also changing their schedule. Oh, I will start slowing down for Foro Park. I don't need to. No, New Hyde Park is still a mile and 3/4 away. So we're good to go. I almost started slowing down for Foro Park, but I don't need to. So I'm just letting the train coast because my stop is up ahead. There's no point getting myself back up to 80. Even though I am inching to be slightly late at this point, I probably should have been doing that. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and put a little speed back on just because I can. And then we'll hit the brakes. So I'm going to do a bit more of a sharp brake this time because I want to make sure I get my stop at a good pace here. So here we go. 50% brake to start off. Ease it back up for a little bit. Now we're going to come down heavy again, even heavier. Well, you notice on the F400 we don't have the passenger indicator on the circles there, so we don't have any situation where we're going to cause discomfort to passengers, which is, maybe that's normal on this train. Maybe that you can't cause discomfort to passengers on this train, because it's designed to not do that. I'm going to be late on this stop, aren't I? I'm going to be late on this stop, guys. Look at this. I'm not going to try and get the last car in. There's no point. Just stop the train, get the doors open. We don't want to be too late if we're late at all. So, arriving at New Hyde Park track number 1. So we were on time, leaving New Hyde Park track number 1. We're now heading to Merillon Avenue. We are going to be there in about a mile. I'm going to go ahead and put this in max power so we can get there as quick as we can, because we're going to need some speed to get there. We can't just coast in. The good news is we're going to be early anyway at this phase, so we don't have to worry too much. So now that we are coming up to Merillon, that is actually, I think that we're going to have Mineola on our... Yeah, the Mineola is the next stop after here. Mineola is actually the end, like I said earlier, the end of the Jamaica to Mineola service on the Ronkonkoma diversion for the Hempstead branch. So, yeah, that's a little bit of a change in that schedule, and that's where that service is going to end. And then we basically have anyone on the Ronkonkoma service is going to have a normal service from there. Hicksville trains are not taking part in these transfers either. It's just the Ronkonkoma trains. So they're going to have a slightly delayed service and a slightly longer stopping pattern. I might have come into here a little too fast, so I'm putting a 70% brake application on to make sure I slow down in time. And I'm going to ease it back up a little bit and back on because I'm coming into the station fully now. Okay, ease it back up now that I'm at 30 miles per hour. And now I'm at 20, so I'm going to coast for a moment, and then I'll apply a minimal brake to bring it down a little further. Actually, I need to stop anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and keep stopping at this point. Okay, get it stopped right now. That's perfect. Perfect. Did I do that on the dime? I'll find out in a second. Arrival at Merillon Avenue, track number 1. Leaving Merillon Avenue. Our next stop is Mineola. I should go to full power because we got a little ways to go, a little over, almost a mile and a half. Actually, no, nowhere close to a mile and a half. More like 1.2 miles, I think that was. So you can already see it coming up ahead here. You can also see the end of a track over there. There's a buffer there for, looks like a yard track or some kind of side track at Mineola. I think this is where the, no, I think it's at Mineola where the Oyster Bay branch actually branches off. We'll see that in a moment if I'm right. So I'm cutting down my power consumption at this point because I'm coming up on this place I want to start my stop anyway. Got a whole minute to do it, so we'll make it just a little easier for us. So minimal brake right now. We'll see what that does for us moving up here. You can see the display on the Nexus speedometer showing the brake applied. Of course, if I lift it off, you see the red disappears. Of course, if I put it up, the green shows up. So it tells you where the throttle is at all times on the display there. So we're going to see the red coming up on the HUD right now as I continue to brake. I shouldn't have really done that demonstration, but now you can see I'm increasing the brake down to 75, and the line goes and shows you that extra brake power. I can go all the way down to 85, max brake, and it'll show that. But now I'm going too slow because I was trying to do a demonstration there. So I'm going to actually speed up and get some power back in the platform here, because that was me being, you know, being a little too overconfident and trying to show you something, which I didn't need to do. So we're going to stop right before this signal. I think that might be a 12-car stop. This looks like a 12-car station. I might have missed the 10-car stop, but we have arrived at Mineola. Leaving Mineola, our next stop is Carle Place. And as I said, the Oyster Bay branch leaves right there. So let's just take a quick peek over at that branch leaving. Right there. 2 tracks. And it heads off in that direction towards East Williston. And I haven't actually, I haven't actually seen East Williston yet. So let's take a quick peek down here as well. Why not? East Williston is over in this direction somewhere. You might be able to see it, you might not. And here is something. There's East Williston. This is East Williston Station. This is also not in Train Sim World, ladies and gentlemen. That is also not in Train Sim World. appreciate Brandon's thoughtfulness in putting a couple extra stations as starting points for people who wanted to branch onto the route, so that the infrastructure for the main line was completed, and all that our maker had to do was actually build on from an actual designated endpoint, which in this case is another station. So Brandon's thoughtfulness in that was really, really profound in how he actually built this aimed at workshop developers. And there's actually someone who already wants to develop a route for the workshop, I found. So I'm going to keep my eyes on that, because that's going to be very interesting if that comes to be. I've cut my throttle into a minimal power setting. I'm moving it to a coast now so I can start braking. Good time to start braking. I'm going to go to a 55% application I've just settled on. That might be a little too much for early on here, but I'm going to be able to cut it back if I need to. In fact, I am going to cut it back if I need to, because I've decided I need to. Now I think I'm coming in a little too slow. So I've cut it back to a 25% brake application. I'm going to go ahead and re-increase that in a moment. Like now. See how we're doing coming in. I think we're coming in at a good brake pace now, so I'm going to go ahead and keep an eye on that. I might ease it off a little more, and I am going to ease it off a little more. I keep thinking there's flies flying in front of the train. I'm at 13 now, so I'm coming in too slowly now. But I will put those brakes back on as the last two cars come in. We should be on time for this stop. This should not be an issue. Need to go a little bit further to get the last car in. By the way, that 10-car stop, I did get the whole train in the platform, but the back doors did not open even though they were in the platform. That does happen from time to time, unfortunately. Not perfect. In any case, we have arrived at Carle Place. Ignore the fact I'm still moving before the guard tells me I can move. Standard scenarios, I will not do that. Leaving Carle Place, our next stop is Westbury. That's our final stop before Hicksville, which is the terminus of our service today. I've only gone up to 75% throttle for some stupid reasons. I'm going to go ahead and max it out right now, because I should. Now, remembering that this is part one of a two-part service, I am going to be having the second part of this service, well, not really a service in this case, but the second part of this scenario being published tomorrow. It's going to be an empty stock move from Hicksville, where we're finishing, back to the Hillside Yard. So we're going to actually get to see Hillside Yard for the first time. Let's get ready to stop at Westbury because I'm coming in a little hot. Now I'm coming in a little cold. Have a whole minute for our stop. Because our stop time ends in 55, we don't have a lot of extra seconds to make this stop, so we need to make sure we are on time for this one. So I'm going to go ahead and just cruise in a little bit more here. I shouldn't have my brakes on. I didn't want my brakes on there. A little bit chancy now because I'm coming in a little slower than I wanted to. So temporarily put a little power back on. We're going to go ahead and slam the brakes on as soon as we have the whole train in. Put a little bit of brakes on right now. And now I can slam them on. Well, almost. So let them coast. I still believe in passenger comfort even if the game doesn't give me the requirement to show it. So arrival at Westbury. One more stop to go. leaving Westbury. Our next and final stop on this service is Hicksville. Sorry, I keep calling it Hillside. Hicksville, track 1. I think I called it Hillside in the previous segment as well. Apologies if you caught that. Good for you. Hicksville is the actual name of the last stop here. Hillside, of course, is a support facility way back around the Jamaica to Hollis area for staff. Man, Hicksville is the terminus. I'm not even calling it the terminus. Wow. There we go. So we got a little ways to go before we get to Hicksville. We still have another 2 miles from where we are right now, 2 miles and change. So we're going to get some time where we're able to go with this 80 mile per hour speed limit. But you can see that we do have the changes in speed coming up ahead. We are going to find the signals. I think about 3 signals before those signs we're going to start getting moved down. I think we actually have another 70 to 30 in a very short segment here. Whoa, 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 whoa. That was close. That was very close. Too close. And there's the 70 I feared. So I'm going to go ahead and keep the speed coming down because we're going to get at least a 40 at the next signal, maybe a 30. That's a 40. You can see the 40 on the HUD right there. So my speed is now down to 35, and I actually am trying to maintain power, not to increase power. I wanted to maintain power for a moment, because we're going to be able to find that we have to go down to 30 in a minute. We might even get dropped to a 15, because I think we're going to have a red signal at the end of our track here. So we'll find out in a moment. We have 3 minutes to make this stop, so not an issue with this stop. I want to do an increase, see what happened, but I was down 29.9 by then. Now, I'm probably going to have to take it down to a 15 shortly anyway, so I'm going to lower the speed a little bit just to be safe. Give me a little bit of a leeway here. We're going to look ahead at the last signal before we enter the platform. It might just be a track circuit. It might not be a signal. Being given a warning for the speed we just entered, which is a 30. We're already under that. We didn't get any other beeps here, so I guess we're staying at 30. We did get another beep for the 40. Convenient. Notice the train take me down to 15. I knew it was going to do that. I absolutely knew it was going to do that. So that means the next signal is probably a stop signal, which would make sense because it's the end of our journey. So we're going to go ahead and keep pulling into the station here. You see the twinkling lights of Hicksville. Now the speed on the HUD again does say 30, but we have to come in at 15. It is a stop anyway, so there's no reason to rush in anyway. So we'll just make our stop and carry on with our day. Get the whole train and platform. Exit. Track 1. We're being told about the stop signal up ahead. That's what we're being warned about. The train is basically going to force us to come to a stop. We're not allowed to go any further, it looks like. Yeah, the train literally did not want us to go any further. I'm going to show you exactly why, if I can get over there. That signal is a stop signal. That's what the train was basically responding to. So the train was telling us we cannot proceed up to that signal. We have to stop here in the platform now that we are fully in the platform. We've done that. Doors are now open. And let's look at the train as we finish our service at Hicksville. Now, as our passengers take the exit to West Barclay Avenue, or West Barclay Street, Duffy Avenue, and I think it was Newbridge Road on the sign up ahead. And there's also a bus waiting room, which is probably closed at this hour. As our passengers take the exits down to their respective streets and where they need to go at this point, we're going to go ahead and get ready for part number 2 of this scenario. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you know when I post this. It will be tomorrow. I do want to get this done for tomorrow. I'm going to actually play it right after this to make sure I have both ready for their respective days. I don't know what I'm going to do with the other 3 yet. I want to do one every day, but I may give myself Monday as a day off and then just do the rest after that. I haven't decided yet. We'll see what happens. It may depend on the viewership of these videos as well over the course of this weekend. So we'll see what happens. So we were a little early, and we just have to wait for the game to say, hey, we're done with this scenario. Congratulations, you get your score. All we're waiting for at this point. Another passenger going by. I'm going to laugh at people bored because we're going to be an empty equipment train. People should not be boarding our train right now. People should not be boarding our train. Okay. Well done, engineer. That was a good run. This scenario continues in part 2 where we will be returning the train to Hillside Yard as an empty equipment move. So remember when I was doing the Leipzig to Rice route, if you were around then, and I said that I didn't like how they had the service as 2 parts, but they made no connection between the scenarios? This is the connection between the scenarios for these 2 scenarios. This I like. Very good aspect to have on the scenario. We're going to go ahead and get ready to do that equipment move in the next scenario. I'll see you for that. But first, let's take a look at our final score. Well, I seem to have picked up a bug in my game. That is now 2 scenarios where I've been given a score of 0. I'm going to go ahead and give this another run to see if I can get that to rectify. But it looks like that 0 score is going to be staying there. I did have a perfect score. You can see that I got the full 1,000. I only got 104 for the last stop, so I got the full 1,000. There's just it's just the second time in a row I've had a bug with this game where the scenario didn't want to give me a score. And I did do some research on this, by the way. I did find out from someone this is a core issue. So there is a problem with the core of the game. This is now the 4th scenario I think it's happened to me on. So yeah, it's a really annoying core issue. Now again, most people don't care about the points, and really I don't as well. They don't do anything, but I just like to have those stars on the menu. That's something I'm going to have to probably create create some kind of mock-up scenario and just move it around to the scenarios I have actually completed, and clear all the stars in those so I can have those taken care of. But I'll have to do that with a mock scenario, so I may have to just play around with that. Either way, I have kept the save for this. I have a save back at Westbury, so whatever happens, I'm going to be able to come back and quickly finish this once this core issue is resolved, assuming this core issue is ever resolved. So even if I don't make a mock-up scenario to replace it, I'm going to be able to do it anyway. So you're just not going to see the star on my next play, which is not ideal. But in any case, make sure you come back for that video. If it is already after tomorrow, which are after today, if it is already at least tomorrow, if Saturday, today's date as I am posting this is Saturday the 6th. Saturday the 16th of July. So if it's at least the 17th or later, you are going to see the next video on the playlist right after this, and you can stay tuned for that. In the meantime, have a wonderful day, evening, or afternoon, wherever it is for your part of the world. And I will wish you a wonderful day between parts of this journey, and I'll see you for part number 2. I want to see you for part number 2. It's going to be a nice, long 80-mile-per-hour drive on empty equipment move. We're going to have some fun with that. So I'll see you for that. That video will start in 3, 2, 1.